You say some people specifically, sorry about
There are ministers.
there are some people that can stay back and explain more.
The reason I say that, it's not so much as to sell the ministers, it's as to whether or not you think that, I mean, some ministers have been doing some work, or you think that some areas might need a bit more explanation. It could work either way. It could be that they're hiding stuff. It could be that they've done very well in that sector and they might need a little more explaining. So I was just wondering, okay, maybe not the ministers, but what ministries would that be? What critical, are they critical ministries? And, you know.
I want to use two ministries now. The ICT ministry, right? Before now, government institutions, you know, I mean, the ministry was just, it was just there by name. People never, she came in there and brought some measure of superintendence on it, and various departments, and begin to see how, and speak the issues of e-government. And these are the things that can strategically take on can be moved to the next level. Agriculture is one. I think that if they are able to pull these people back and say, you know what, yes, we are from another party. We want to see how we could leverage on what you've done for the good of it, so that you don't reinvent the wheels. However, what I was trying to say beyond just that was that if critical policies are now put in place, you will see this strategic sucking of the unemployed. The number will just drop because you will just need to hire the people. The third is education. There must be a strategic reorientation of our education policy. This whole thing, you know, that Nigerians are schooling abroad, from Ghana to Cyprus to Turkey to Hungary to various other places. And somebody sits in as our Minister of Education, and this does not prick him. Baffles me. Students are out of school for such a long time, and they are busy, you know, negotiating. Baffles me. So I'm just wondering.
You just dovetailed into education. Sorry again to cut you there. We're talking more of this education sector. You just raised a very important point which borders on national, you know, it's a national concern, our education issue. And if you were to give an advice to that particular ministry to making sure that things work and see less and less of people moving out and even more and more people coming into our schools, our institutions, because quite frankly, I met someone lately who has just left school in Nigeria and going to a neighboring country to continue higher education. How well can we bring back the glory days in that sector?
There is, you know, that's what a friend of mine keeps telling me, that one of people's problems is, you see, this issue of low-hanging fruits, that it is a bane, because it's a spirit of now. You know, let me eat now, tomorrow can take care of itself. For you to achieve what you are talking about, it must be, that's why, you know, and I want to appeal for your understanding. I'm interested in strategic decisions that will influence tomorrow and next tomorrow. I'm not talking about now. If you talk about now, you know, you create unnecessary, what I would call is for spirit. You know, give me now. If you don't give me now, you know what I'm saying? And that's not it. If we are listening, if you want to change anything, you will need to invest in it now. It will take time. Okay, you need to set the standard. Government, in other realm crimes, are regulators. Government, it train her people, train those that work for them to be able to set the standards. Then they open up the system, and the system will blossom. If you want education, create what I will call education tourism. Nigeria alone is sufficient. What you're looking, Nigerians alone, if you were to say, listen, we will set these universities and they'll be first rated, then you first of all will stop the exodus. You will suck in your children, and at the same time, you begin to place them to compete with the rest of the universities around the world. So you answer your questions, you must invest in it massively now. People don't invest in capacity building. They do it with lip service. I'm a training consultant of many years in training for banks and financial institutions and around the world. I've seen that people invest in training only when they are stuck. If you come to them and say, listen, let's strategically groom your people in such a way and in such a manner that in another 2-3 years you have a SWOT team that will be able to deal with a particular issue that you are at source, they never say it until they hit a brick wall. And that's what's happening to our country. If you do not now sit down and ask yourself, and that's what is important for policy. Where is Nigeria headed? You cannot say you want to be the 20th best economy by the year 2020, and you don't have the critical manpower to do it. Excuse me. You can't be playing mantra in this 21st century. The rest of the world is strategizing. Look at Malaysia. Up to today, your country my country still goes to Malaysia, to Singapore, to go and Malaysia to collect oil seeds, this palm seed, to find how you want. They have to, you know what they told us recently? They said, go to Benin. They came as you came, but they have implemented since 1999. So we need to move away from this analysis paralysis and get into implementation. There is nothing, my friend, there's no rocket science about implementation. Just get it done. Just do it.
Does it mean that the Ministry of National Planning has not been as effective as it is even in
If you pick up a ministry, it will be as if other ministries are working. Tell me which one. Tell me which one that is strategic, that is keyed in to an agenda that government is doing. And that's why I'm interested in this incoming government. I use Lagos as an example, and I think that they'll do themselves a whole lot of good if they are able to see if they can superintend what they're doing here at the national level. Where you sit down and you can see a strategic direction, you can see a policy that is developing ministries, departments, and agencies of government that is key towards government, the overall global government corporate strategy. So that's why I'm listening, and I hope Nigerians are also listening to Muhammadu Buhari.
So that's
to the government that is coming in.
Strengthening
Where are we going?
institutions.
Yes, you need to strengthen institutions. Then you need to have strong men that will man those institutions. I am not of the one that say you need to strengthen institutions. You need men to. Has government not been there? Has Asarok not been there? Why are people expectant all of a sudden of Buhari? Because they see in him a strong man. So you need to set up the institutions, yes, but you must groom people. Go around the world. I'll give you an instance. The chief risk officer of the Department of Energy in the United States is a Nigerian. He needs to go around and find these people and bring them home. He must entice them to come home. This in politics is over. We are getting into governance.
Is politics truly over?
I think so. And that's why you're seeing a lot of research. People are beginning to get concerned because there's still a lot of politics being played on. We've given you what you asked for. Just get on with it. Find credible Nigerians. They are all over the place, across board. They don't need to be in APC.
What's the politics that you're saying right now?
The policy I'm still seeing here now is that, I just said today, Nigeria is broke. You didn't know before? Excuse me? You were pursuing power and you didn't know that oil price, where is our money? This is a monolithic economy. Oil price was dropping from 100 and something to 50 something. You didn't think that this will affect, your overall reserve and overall income available for you to do. You would have been thinking by now alternatives. So we already know, sir, that we are in that there's no money. So get innovative. Think through it. Lagos have done it as they sustain this place with their internally generated revenue. What are other state governments doing?
Now you have entered another aspect, and that has to do with funding options. When we talk about infrastructural development, we also must be talking about funding options.
Yeah.
How do you get the monies to fix these things, to develop the communities, to develop the state and the nation?
It takes me back to what I said initially, Suleiman. When you do, one of the key ways of attracting foreign direct investment is your policy. As a strategic intent, which means that, when we've looked at the place, we don't have money, but we want to massively develop the people, develop the environment, right? You will not go the way of public-private partnership. Two strategies that are locked in PPP. What we are seeing is the one that has toll gates, where people are collecting money from Nigerians who are already paying taxes. The second one is where government pays over years for infrastructure that they're going to get the big boys to build for you. And we need to begin to ask them, these are ways to go. Because if you are able to take away railway, if you're able to take away infrastructure away and say you will be managed by on public-private partnership, then the little money you have, you can now deploy for social amenities and welfare.
What are the hurdles you see ahead? Because there definitely will be hurdles.
Of course there'll be hurdles. But I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. Because these guys have been in opposition for a long time. I'm hoping that I don't even know what opposition people do here, apart from just come on television and papers and talk against government policies. I'm hoping that they will have put in alternative strategies.
By now.
By now, oh yes. So those things, they just dust those things and come in and say, let me give you an instance. APC has been talking about devolution of powers. And I'm heading to politics now. Devolution of powers. In other words, you want the regions and the states to be self-sufficient and develop at their pace. I'm expecting that the first 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 bills, executive bills, or what I would call party bills, will be on how to assist
In the devolution of those powers.
powers. If there are some of them that was mentioned in the confab, take them. Some of them are executive actions. That was my problem with some of the things that happened in outgoing administration. Some of the things you needed to do with executive action. Wake up one morning, write the memo, SG will just announce it, and it will just happen. Some of them were not just things that they had to go to the National Assembly. So there are certain things that are within the purview of government to just say, this is how we're going to operate. This is what we want to do, and it will just happen. So talking about hurdles and the challenges, the hurdles will be the fact that people will still want to keep playing politics instead of doing governance. So they must devise a means of extricating from government politics and leave those in government to play governance. Because, Nigeria was virtually shut down during the elections. Everybody was watching day and night. We can't afford to do that for too long. We need to get productive. And we are looking, everybody is listening now, where is this government headed? So that they can begin to attract the right kind of businesses, people, and concerns, and then cause our own businesses internally to take positions.
Well, in closing, would you be disappointed when they come in and it shows that they haven't actually had a template all the while to work with?
I'll be surprised. I'll be very surprised. I will be surprised. And it will be a painful surprise. I will be shocked that a party like APC that have been shouting, that have done quite good in Lagos State, that have done quite good in Ogun State, that have done quite good in some other places that they are, will not be able to take some bit of this, even if it is for the beginning. No, I'll be surprised. And by the way, they have picked some people, apart from the chairman of the transition committee, who I just thought maybe is there to bring governance. I've picked a couple of people that I think that the Doing Salamis of this world, Bola Adeshola of Standard Chartered, I think those guys will be able to insist that things are done well in the first 100 days. By the way, I keep telling you, we don't come and impress us with this is our spirit today. We must do something that we can see.
We'll look towards that.
We can see and say, listen, in another 1 year, this is where this is going. If you're taking away subsidy, take it away. Let us know. And then tell us what you will use the money for.
I see you had
as a policy.
much more to say on this, and we would like to bring you back pretty much later. Pascal Odibo, he is the Group Country Director, Jeff and O'Brien. Many thanks for talking with us on Sunrise Daily. Stay with us on the program. We'll return shortly.